Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Rare Champions of Marvel Contest of Champions. These are champions that are secret champions. They were unannounced, they were never made, they were partly made, they may have featured in some sort of gameplay or have abilities. The subject of this video is the champion Doctor Strange Marvel Now. Some people will recognise this particular silhouette, some may not. So where does this all start from? Well, it starts from early October. There was obviously an idea at Kabam to create a new version of Doctor Strange. In the same year we had Marvel Now version of Magneto, but also we could have seen future other versions of Marvel Now based characters. So where did the idea for Doctor Strange Marvel Now version, or the Defenders looking version, come from? Well, in October of 2015, this trailer dropped for Act 4. Now, prior to that, there was a Marvel Now version of Magneto. As a lot of us know, it's something of a different classification now. It's called House of X. And technically, the Doctor Strange version that we all saw and could have seen is not just a Marvel Now version, it is a Defenders version. That's kind of like be completely correct. One thing you will note in that particular trailer is the following. As you can see in the red circle, that is Doctor Strange Marvel Now version. It was called Marvel Now version. We'll kind of refer it to that for the time being, because at the time that was the Magneto Marvel Now version, and the regular Doctor Strange version is the one that's right there. So this Marvel Now version of Doctor Strange is a bit of a mystery, even more so because it had abilities and a character model already built. So let's cycle things back and also bring it to the current day to kind of describe what the Marvel Now version of Doctor Strange is. As I said, it's kind of the Defenders version. You might remember the Defenders version of Doctor Strange appearing in the most recent Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange 2. And in this particular version, you can see like there's a very different vibe, but I think it's more on the outfit, which is very much in keeping with what we're going to go back to and showcase. In 2011/2012, there was a Defenders comic book story arc, and in that particular one, you can see this Doctor Strange red, very much red with the central, with a kind of a black and red kind of gloves. So that was a different kind of vibe that was being kind of portrayed, and, you know, felt right that maybe Kabam were looking into doing the Marvel Now version of Magneto and also bringing in this version of Doctor Strange, just to kind of like, you know, bring in a new character and maybe a slight version change to the abilities of Doctor Strange already in game. I was actually really looking forward to this version of this champion. You know, back in the day, you know, your 2015 kind of era, you know, the game was hotting up and you were looking at these new kind of champions as being, you know, interesting and fun, and Doctor Strange had always been that kind of really fun kind of champion. But I never really liked the outfit with more modern ones, and that sometimes a lot of players will say, and a lot of people will say as well, they're like, well, I like that version of this character, but when it had this costume or this outfit or this armoring, it was kind of like, it just looked really darn good. So seeing this one, which I'm sure that a lot of players would go like, well, it looks exactly the same. But as I said, for me personally, I just like, I think maybe it's down to like a color toning that I just like, but I kind of like the Defenders story arc, so I kind of really resonated with having this version in. It just looked a bit more sickered, really. But the weird thing that happened between October 7th, 2015 and the following year, going into 2016, it just went really quiet on this particular champion. It just went completely silent, and it was weird because we were like, wasn't this meant to be a champion that was going to come out? It's definitely rumored to be. So what happened? Well, it wasn't until the May that we started seeing leaks. So May 2016. By the way, I can't show this too much because it's just grainy. It's just grainy and choppy with this one. So my apologies, but unfortunately it is what it is with this quality. This is done by MCOC Mod, who used to be an old data miner and leaker of details back in the day. And this particular person within the community was able to kind of like, you know, access, leak. I actually think that this particular data miner, MCOC Mod, which we do refer to quite a bit in this particular series, was given a little bit of a lawsuit by Disney. Quite possibly. That was the rumor at the time, because they did stop posting as of, I think, 3 years ago, maybe even going into 4. But this was always very interesting seeing stuff like this, because then we kind of got an idea of what the champion looked like, operated as, but it is very grainy, so I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. But it's yeah, a bit painful on the eyes if you don't like grainy, kind of like choppy MCOC videos and kind of gameplay. One thing this particular champion has, well, a lot of the champions in the series do not, and that is they were fully built. It's fully built as well to be either a end boss, maybe, or a playable champion. It's definitely with the feeling that having the likes of, at the time, Magneto Marvel Now version, now called House of X version, at least we get this idea that maybe this was something that we could use or play against because it'd been fully built. It just had not been fully released. Here's where there is a little twist in the tale, and that the abilities were leaked online. This was leaked in October 2016, a year after the Act 4 trailer, in which the champion was seen for the very first time. Now, I will be going to a more readable element of it. We'll be reading through this, but I'll leave links in the description to anything I reference, so you can go and check it out. So what's the difference in the abilities? We'll look at the Doctor Strange in-game, the one here now. So from a signature ability standpoint, Mana Leak. Okay, so the signature ability is that the Sorcerer Supreme automatically tears apart enemy beneficial effects with dark magic, leaking opponent's power by 10%. Spell effectiveness is X amount. This would basically be a slight difference to the one that Doctor Strange has in game at the moment, which is Sorcerer Supreme automatically counters enemy buffs with counter magic spells effectiveness. So it's like this became a power control version of Doctor Strange right off the bat with his abilities. And all of this is taken from that video, but also this is on Marvel Contest of Champions Wikia. You can go and check it out in the link in the description. From a passive sense of things, because there are, passives for this champion, the same thing as you can see in game. There's one's passives for Doctor Strange right now. There's armor and block proficiency. There's attack, critical hit rate. When it comes to the one that is Doctor Strange Marvel Now, the one we're talking about, first of all, Doctor Strange has sold his soul on the Sinner's Market to gain power of the god, different to in-game where it invokes the Vishanti blessings. So while under the first aspect of power, Doctor Strange Hex tears through his opponent's defenses through armor and block proficiency. When detonated, his Hex deals X% of damage attack as direct damage. I like that. I think it's more aggressive, and I think this is why I wanted this champion, because it seems to be more on the front foot, whereas the other one in game at the moment is kind of more, well, calculated. This is more aggressive. While under the aspect of power, Doctor Strange's Hex cripples his opponent's lowering attack and critical hit rate. When detonated, his Hex drains X% of the power control. Fantastic. And that is exactly... Is it exactly the opposite? It looks like exactly the opposite of what you get in game. While under the third aspect of power, Doctor Strange Hex reduces enemy power gain and healing effects. When detonated, his Hex heals Doctor Strange for X% of total health. Which is good. And that's a little bit different to what it's in game, because they nerfed, I think, his healing ability. And then Doctor Strange receives 50% less power from attacking and defending, but gains 60.5% power every 7 seconds. So it just builds automatically, which is kind of, I think that's kind of like what the champion gets in any case. So that's a bit, and I guess the healing champion does have, but it felt like this champion was a bit more kind of aggressive on the front foot versus how the other one was. Going back, doing a little bit of research on all of this, there were some interesting finds. I mean, one of the first ones is that somebody made a GTA 5 model of the champion, which I thought was really cool, as there's no kind of like bigger version, so it was cool to see this. So what are the final thoughts of this particular episode? Well, I find this fantastically interesting and insightful, because you never know what the future could hold with a character like this. Do I think that this version of Doctor Strange will come in? No, I don't. The only kind of, well, slight chance you could have is that this could be used as a trophy-based champion. This may be it. It's highly unlikely, but this could be an option to do it. If Kabam have built the character, we saw a Scarlet Witch sigil come in, then what's to say that the next trophy champion wouldn't be something like this, like a Doctor Strange Marvel Now, or Doctor Strange Defenders. We don't really have at this moment in time, at the point of recording this video that is, another version of Doctor Strange. Now, it could be a case that by this video comes out that I've been proven wrong and there's a new version of Doctor Strange. It could happen, but I think they would have to change the abilities just so it looks a bit different or functions in a different way, or if not, this is a simplistic playing champion that has a rapid amount of potency. But a lot of the time for players, you want to be able to choose stuff, and having things at the point of cycling through different types of modes, which essentially you're going from what? Passive ability, aspect of power, aspect of whatever. Like, you would literally go through these things at random rather than having control, and players nowadays want to have control. So I do think in future it is highly unlikely we'll see this particular version of this character. I would love to see it. There's plenty of information out there to say that the character could come in, but I think the Kabam have gone past that point and would largely move on to, say, a newer version of Doctor Strange, or have him with new abilities and he's out as the new sigil-based champion. Maybe, possibly, don't know. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this new episode of the Secret Champions series. I look forward to doing another one for you, so go and check out them, support them, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and yeah, I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.